Podcast, coming to you live from Boxo Studio in Hamilton, Ontario, the great, great city of Hamilton, Ontario, under the shadow of the mountain, the blast furnace of live music, of the creative class. It is becoming well known that Hamilton is, in fact, one of the places that you want to be, certainly in Canada. Undervalued and underappreciated for so long. We know what we had. Now the rest of the world is figuring it out, and you get a front row seat right here at Barbershop Podcast every week as we feature some of the great original artists coming at live music. It's good for the soul. Ryan Cannon, we've got some special guests coming in the control room this week. More and more often, we get people who get to experience Barbershop Podcast from the command bridge. Mr. Glen Marshall has joined us in the studio this evening. He is, I guess, a de facto manager of our guest tonight. Certainly someone who've bounced off each other and known each other over the years, trying to get Glen Marshall to come in the studio. A great influence on me, a great friend of the show and what we're doing here. So happy to have Glen Marshall joining Ryan Cannon and Gary Greenland in the control room here at Boxo Studio. And we're bringing you episode, what are we at, 113, Ryan?
Lucky 113.
Lucky 113.
We won't get to say that again for another 100 episodes.
Number 113. And as usual, it's another classic, instant classic here at Barbershop Podcast. We've got Mr. Pearly Jenkins bringing the true blue heart and soul of music into the room tonight. Had the pleasure of knowing this gentleman for a number of years, and certainly in certain incarnations and incantations, and he's brought himself into the studio tonight, and I can tell you I'm as transfixed as I've always been with his incredible presence and abilities on the guitar. Great strong voice in the tradition of the troubadour, the country gentleman. Mr. Pearly Jenkins in the studio tonight. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Kevin, I'm good. How am I going to live up to that introduction?
I tell you, you're going to live up to it just fine.
Oh, okay, cool. This is a lot of fun. I've never done this before.
It's new every week for me. You know, Ryan can attest to that. It's like, I don't know how we do it. We just kind of roll with it, and it gets better every week. We just have faith in it because the people who come in here are great.
Got to have faith in everything you do.
Yeah, and no exception, absolutely. The starting point, music. You're in here because you're a musician. We know each other because of our mutual love of music.
Yeah.
People come by music honestly or dishonestly. How was music injected into your life?
I mean, I was surrounded by it growing up. Believe it or not, I was on stage at 3 and started off in the dance arena. So obviously surrounded by music like that. And when I got into my teens, just a plethora of different genres, and sort of stuck to the country. Went into the rockabilly stuff for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was all over the map. The first concert I went to was a Destroyer tour of Kiss. So.
Yeah, Kiss was big for me. That's how I got into music, and over the years, probably the number one band of anyone, no matter the genre. Come in here, Kiss is, and it's proven out that that something has to interest someone at a certain age in music.
Well, I remember being at that show and looking up at the stage and thinking, how the hell do I get that job? That looks like a really fun job, right? I'm going to do that. So it started from there.
What was the kind of time frame between when you liked music and when you started playing music? Was it a number of years before you had the
I liked music. I liked music from the get-go.
When did you start playing?
I think I got a guitar when I was 13 from Woolworths.
Yep.
So, it was like kind of guitar.
Yourself.
You took all 4 fingers and vice grips to get the strings down to the fretboard, and started plunking around on that. But it wasn't really, I guess, probably my late teens that it really started to hit hard and grab me. And I figured that's what I needed to do.
What part of the music did you gravitate towards? Was it the just sheer energy of the ass shaking element of it, or were you?
There was that, but I mean, a lot of the stuff, it was strange that I listened to when I was young was pretty cerebral, and it was an escape for me.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on around me that I didn't really understand, and I was an only child and lived in the middle of nowhere. So not a lot of social outlet for me. So I dove right into the music.
It's a bit of an escape.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, the evolution of yourself as a musician. Yeah, I mean, it's like we've talked about it. I've met you many years ago when you came in here with Ray Ferrugia, playing some killer, high energy, country. Were you
that and rockabilly? Yeah,
rockabilly, and that was there's a kind of a formula that just works, and it seems like it doesn't matter what genre you attach yourself to, you use that same formula where there's an authenticity and an energy with what you do.
Yeah, and I guess what it boils down to is I just always believed I could do it and believed that that's what I needed to do, so I did it, that kind of thing. The rockabilly stuff was a lot of years. I played with the Killbillies for a long time, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, there was always that country element to it. I mean, like I said, I went through so many different genres. I loved so many different styles of music. But it seemed that I always came back to the rockabilly stuff or the country stuff.
And we talked about it as what a healing thing it was. Both of us have walked a lot of the same kind of paths and the ups and downs in our life. And there's times when you don't have anything else to grab onto. Music has continually been there.
Yeah, I mean, it dragged me out of a lot of situations. I mean, I live with mental illness, bipolar 1 disorder, and that wasn't diagnosed until I was 40. And I tried to compensate for it with alcohol and drugs for a lot of years. I've been sober now for a few years anyway. I got a few under my belt.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for the music, I'd probably be face down in a ditch with a mind full of chemicals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it really helped me work through a lot of things.
And having that energy, like something to say, and having such a hard path and to get it out, and feeling that if I don't get this out, things are going to be so much worse.
I know that feeling.
Get them out.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, we we're big supporters of that. I too, deal with bipolar 1, and the people who've come in here over the last year working on the mental health record have all got a story and all got an association.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful how we've kind of come together and understand that this is what's called the musician's mindset. This is the deal. You don't get a lot of bankers and stock portfolio managers who are shifting and changing your feelings and your emotions and shepherding you through the hard times in life.
That's true.
So it's like there's a price to be paid for the people who bleed on the stage and do it on records. And, I think the due is long overdue for the people like you and the people who come in here on a regular basis and share the human experience on a regular basis. You do it so well. We've got some music. We've got some stuff off of a upcoming CD that you're about to release.
Yeah.
That's got, and the story about, the manic month of songs. I want to touch about that too.
Touch on that.
Touch on that. I think it's a fantastic story. But Soundcheck was so good. I want to share that with the people a bit. So why don't you start us off with a live song? What are you going to play for us?
Sure. It's called The Passion. Sounds something like this. My trail, the hounds are howling. Soon they'll be overtaking me. What they call crime passion. Sweet Jesus, come and set me free. For that woman's sultry eyes that were on fire, and it started burning in my heart. I went blind with jealousy, and she took off the dark gate. So I took that woman's word, and that woman all apart. Well, I'm not proud of all my actions, but I'd never been in love before. went to call on her one August evening. Saw her kissing young McGee, her front door. And that woman's sultry eyes that were on fire, and it started burning in my heart. Well, I went blind with jealousy, and she took off the dog McGee. So I took that woman's word, and that woman all apart. So now I run, not forever. I face the jade of Waterloo to beg forgiveness. I'll never bother. Now I know what jealousy can do. And that woman's sultry eyes that were on fire, and it started burning in my heart. I went blind with jealousy, and she took off the dog brigade. So I took that woman's word, and that woman all apart. Yes, I took that woman's word, and that woman all apart.
Oh yeah, Barbershop Podcast every week, bringing you the very best in Hamilton and Hamilton area artists. And we have Pearly Jenkins live in studio. Want to send a shout out, a thank you to our sponsors. First of all, hamiltonartists.ca. We love the people at hamiltonartists.ca. If you are an artist or you are anyone at any time needs anything printed on anything, you need to get a hold of hamiltonartists.ca or at their store at 1141 Main East at Balmoral, just east of the Delta. They print anything on anything. They're committed to helping small business artists and musicians promote, market their business. They do t-shirts, mugs, buttons, anything. Visit them online. Let them be your voice when you have a company icon, band logo, name, anything. They've got a beautiful store. You can go check out. They could do engraving, jewelry, custom wear. If you've got some wicked stage ideas that you want to put together, some sort of Graham Parsons outfit with a lot of bedazzling in it, they would do that for you. hamiltonartist.ca. If you need it, they've got it. Go visit them. They are friends of the show, and we thank their interest in what we do and their faith in what we do, and joining us in our quest to bring the greatness of music, original music, to the people who might not otherwise get out to see live music. And we tell you, it is life affirming.
Life affirming.
Talk about that. The difference, like when you go see a show, it does something to you, doesn't it?
Definitely.
It's and it's difficult to. It's like going to an amusement park, where you could say, okay, I could just jump up and down, or I could have the physical element of what a amusement park does, but it will never approach what the whole experience is. Live music is very similar. Not only do you get to experience it in the oral sense, AURAL, but also all your other senses at the same time working, making it oh so good. So let's talk about some of the bands. When you started going and seeing live music yourself, who were the people that you would kind of like have a little jaw-dropping experience when you'd see them on stage?
Were we talking big bands, or it doesn't matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. A lot of times it's the surprise. It's someone who's small or someone unexpected.
Well, the Kiss experience was pretty extreme for a youngster, you know. And then it's really, you asked me about when the music really took hold. I think when it happened for me, it was a B minor. which sounds a little strange, but I was probably 17, 18 years old and in Port Dover, Ontario. And there was a place there called the Commercial Tavern. We used to call it the Zoo. And I was in and around there, and there was a band playing, and they were pretty hot, man. But there was a B minor, and this is when I thought, you know, I can actually do this. And it was a... And it went like that.
Yeah.
And there's the character singing.
Italian sunglasses.
Don't need no overcoat to keep me warm. So that was one of the things, and Tom sort of picked me up and threw me into the middle of it. So that's when it sort of happened.
Yeah, when you see a performer,
it was a B minor.
Yeah, it was a B minor. It's a funny story. Brian's got that. We played that with Captain Easy. That was one of the songs we played in our set. And then years later, he was playing. What's the full story with that? That you were working with Adam Cannon,
Greg Cannon's kid, and we were jamming in the basement, and he started playing it, and he's singing along, but he would, instead of singing the chorus, Italian Sunglasses, he would say, go to a G. So it took me a while to clue into it, but yeah.
So that's what that song is. Oh, that's my dad. That's your dad, and you know, and it's like that sort of thing. You could be the next band that inspires the next kid to become the next musician. I'm telling you, like
Tom Wilson did it for me. I mean, at that age, I remember hanging out with him that night up in the room, and I think he handed me a schooner.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, kid, you got a band?" And I said, "Yeah, I got a band, man." And I didn't. He said, "Well, why don't you open up for us at the Omacombo on Wednesday?" I said, "Okay." And immediately went home and started calling people, like, I got a gig. And come Wednesday, I opened for Tom Wilson and the Florida Razors at the Omacombo. That was my first gig, right? The Omacombo. And I think we got paid 5, maybe 6 schooner that night too. So it was it. But I mean, that sort of set everything into motion. I didn't really think about it that way until now, sitting with you. Like, yeah, that's pretty much how it happened.
That B minor rippled through you.
Yeah,
and the rest
I
is
thought
history.
I thought they were great. Tom was really good to me, and it's been a long time since then. But
fantastic. A lot of water under the bridge. A lot of music.
A lot of everything under the bridge.
Yeah. And you talked when we were mentioning, saying we're going through when you're bipolar, you have these, you know, as bad as the depressing end of it is, there's nothing really quite like the rush of the manic when it's super productive and you're on top of it.
Sometimes I wish for it to happen because I'm so incredibly overproductive. If that, you know, I mean, it's just the productivity is amazing.
Yeah.
But it can get me in trouble too, you know.
You burn your reserves quick that way.
Yeah.
It's true. But you've got a lot of grist for the mill, and you've gone through it and putting together such a beautiful record that you should be so proud of.
Glen was a big part of that. I mean, the whole thing came about was a manic episode, and I wrote 32 songs in 30 days. And I would get up early in the morning and go out on my deck, and I would write the song, and then I would record the demo in the afternoon, and then I'd release it to internet that night. And Glen got a hold of them and said, "You know what? This is you. This is what we need to do right now." Mm-hmm. And that's how that happened. That's how we got together.
And fantastic.
And God love him.
That we were just talking to each other on different circles this week, and he's like, "I need to come in." I said, "Yeah, I need to see you sometime this week." Well, Pearly's coming in on Wednesday. Boom.
Boom.
You know?
There we go.
And it just so happened that I got to see two good friends that I haven't seen in too long. But we're going to play the first song live for you. Tell me about the upcoming CD.
Well, we've released the album digitally, so you can download it from iTunes and Amazon and Google, all those places. I think the physical units, the CDs and the vinyl, is coming out in April. But
stop rubbing your leg.
Oh, I was the mic. Sorry. It's a nervous
for those
little
people,
habit. I didn't even realize I was doing it.
No one does. And then for the people in TV land, I'm the only one who's actually got.
Is that what you said? It sounds like a dinosaur running through the forest?
Yeah, when you scratch your beard or anything, you just don't even think of it. And I realize when I see myself, I say the same things. We're going to make a drinking game. What's my drinking game? You know. I say you know about 13 times. Yes,
win.
I know. You can't. You can drink.
I'd be drinking water. You guys would be falling over.
Falling over. But
okay, back to where were we after the leg rubbing?
You're putting together a beautiful record.
Thank you.
And you and Glen Marshall have been picking through, like, from these 32 songs that you recorded in 30 days, the ones that kind of sparkled in the right spots. And we're going to play 3 of them for the people tonight. The first one is a tune called "Lie for You."
Right.
Do you want to just roll it?
We can roll it. I mean,
sometimes
it's sort of self-explanatory. I do want to say that Miss Laura Cole is doing the backups on this. It was wonderful to have her in the studio. She sang on a few tracks. Yeah. It was great. I should have called her and had her come in.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been great.
She's a friend of the show as well. She had a great episode in here.
Awesome.
And certainly did a great job at the Exile on James Street show, singing some Stones for us. But here she is singing with Pearly Jenkins, song off his upcoming CD you get to hear right here at Barbershop Podcast.
I stood there in the darkness and realized that I was gonna lie. 'Cause I was the only witness to a scene that burned a memory in my eyes. She stood there o'er a man whose hands lay cold and dead upon the ground. Ran my story through my head for when the law eventually came around. I'll lie for you, 'cause I love you, and I know you didn't mean the thing you done. I love you, and when the law eventually comes, I swear that sorry bastard held a gun. She stood there with her head hung low, shivered while the terror took her face. Her pretty lips were trembling as she looked around at her disheveled place. The knife fell from her hands, and she wondered, where the hell am I gonna run? I stepped out of the darkness and said, nowhere, girl, 'cause I'm the only one. And I'll lie for you, 'cause I love you, and I know you didn't mean the thing you done. Well, I'll lie for you, 'cause I love you, and when the law eventually comes, I swear that sorry bastard held a gun. And I know you didn't mean the thing you done. But I'll lie for you, 'cause I love you. And when the law eventually comes, I swear that sorry bastard held a gun. When the law eventually comes, I swear that sorry bastard held a gun.
Lie for You, a beautiful song off of the upcoming CD from Pearly Jenkins. Something you're going to want to have. You're going to want to own it. You're going to want to share it. Tell people about it. I'm serious. And you introduce a fresh piece of original music, something that is akin to a bistro on a side street where you introduce someone to some fantastic food and some great service. I truly believe that. It's like if you bring a piece of original music, I do that when I go up to cottages. I'm blessed here that everyone leaves a CD, so I have so much great original local music. Right. And I'll go up to the cottage, and especially if they have a carousel player or something, and put on 6 CDs of cottage music, and invariably people are like, this is really nice. What is this? Well, boom, this is who it is. Right. And as you can see, you go through all 113 episodes of Barbershop Podcast, you will not be disappointed.
You're an amazing champion.
Well,
I love you.
I think that what I'm championing is pretty easy to sell. It's great stuff, and you are certainly someone who's contributed mightily, and I appreciate that you came in and are sharing with us tonight.
I'm glad I was asked.
Glen Marshall, looking good too, isn't he? Like, you got him dressed up in his suit.
His suit wasn't snappy, isn't he?
Yeah, it was. His suit wasn't. His suit was owned by John Voight, I believe.
John Voight,
John Voight owned that
as
suit.
As opposed to my Glen Campbell
jacket.
Glen
Campbell jacket.
Right. John Voight.
We love it all here. Barbershop Podcast. And I got to say, you're doing a great job coming in here a little bit under the weather. I know everyone's been sick. We had you booked before the new year, and you came down with a terrible case of I can't breathe.
It was it was horrible.
Yeah, and you called me with 2 days' notice and said, I do not like doing this, but I am dying over here. And I said, no worries.
It's horrible. I hate doing that.
Yeah, but we got the dinner bells that come in on. We got 5 out of 7 of those guys in 2 days. Just shows you the kind of pulling power we have around here.
Yes,
and Joey,
the power.
And Joey Balducci helps too. But when I asked you to come back in, you jumped at it. You said, absolutely, you're going to come by myself. And I said, we like it that way. And you're still, you got another little something, and you're like, I'm not coming because Barber will so
beat me. People were telling me,
chase you down.
My wife was telling me, my son was telling me, Dad, you can't go. And I said, no, show must go on. I've got to this time because I've already canceled once. So
it's not happening again.
Acute bronchitis. I got you.
That ain't nothing.
Ain't nothing.
So without much further ado, we're gonna launch back into it. Well, you've got some voice in you, and you're gonna give us another great example of why people love to come to Barbershop Podcast, because Ryan Cannon and Gary Greenland make you sound so good.
So good.
Well, it don't hurt much since you left me to keep myself strong. There's a comfort in the bottle when you're left all alone. Your voice starts to haunt me when I'm dry as a bone. It don't hurt much since you left me, 'cause I keep myself stoned. The bottle keeps your memory, my heartache at bay. It's been working for a while now, but I fear it won't stay. Your pictures stare me down, so I tuck them away. But the ones in my head always getting in the way. No, it don't hurt much since you left me, so I keep myself stoned. There's a comfort in the bottle when you're left all alone. Your voice starts to haunt me when I'm dry as a bone. It don't hurt much since you left me. I keep myself stoned. It's been 20 days and I'm drinking to ease the pain of your leaving after begging you please. Well, I've got the key. It's a smashing success. You see, I got a big smile now and I pass out the rest. So it don't hurt much since you left me. I keep myself stoned. Well, there's a comfort in the bottle when you're left all alone. Your voice starts to haunt me when I'm dry as a bone. It don't hurt much since you left me. I keep myself stoned. It don't hurt much since you left me. I keep myself stoned.
Oh, just beautiful. The heart and the soul of Pearly Jenkins. A tome of life, and that's what you get when you support real music. There's a lot to be said. Every time someone tells you what's wrong with the music business, tell them you don't judge the food industry by McDonald's. You shouldn't judge the music industry by what you hear on the radio and what you see on TV. For every piece of garbage, there's 5 pieces of brilliance. And
yeah, there's diamonds everywhere.
I've been exposed to it. Like as jaded as I was, this show has forced me to look a little bit deeper and find so much more. And different generations. I wouldn't normally go out and check this out. I wouldn't normally, but I have to. And my goodness, just blown away. It's just like when we're kids, we wear our music like a badge, and we have to be very specific.
Definitely did. I mean, we wore
literally
music badges, right?
Badges and patches on our jacket, painted, and that's who we were. And to be outside of that was somehow abandoning your principles or whoever you aligned yourself with. But as you got older, and I remember country for me was a big thing because sure, there was disco, which was the enemy, because at the time that was seen as contrived music that was strictly that didn't carry the emotional or lyrical content that a young idealistic kid.
Mind you, it screams around our house every once in a while now.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, it's weird.
but for me, country, and all of a sudden liking or seeing the legitimacy in country, and I probably came through things like the band. Yeah. And music that
Ricky Danko grew up just around the corner from where I grew up.
Yeah, and that's you can't ignore that. And when you realize if I like Neil Young, I have to like this, and if I have to like this, then I should listen to this.
And you're back to George Jones.
Yes, back to George Jones and Buck Owens.
Yeah.
And Chester and Lester.
Well, it's got everything that I like about music. Country music does.
Yeah.
It's got great players.
Yeah.
Great melodies, great vocals, great stories, and wonderful harmonies.
Now,
it's all there.
How do you feel about what's happened to it?
I think it's despicable.
It's despicable. I mean, to me, it's like a priest or a cop or like somehow the other genres could get run through the mud, and it doesn't bug me as much as seeing what's happening to country music.
It's not country music anymore. I mean, I said to Glenn not that long ago, we were working on the record, and I said, "Have you listened to new country radio at all?" I said, I can't do it. I tried to do it. I can't do it. It's like, pardon me, it's really bad Southern rock pop with a fiddle in it.
Yeah.
You know, but done horribly.
Yeah.
And now they're using, I mean, there's disco beats and stuff.
It's literally what they're doing is they're cutting everything into a little tiny chunk in the musical world and putting it together by committee, by some focus group who's trying to figure out this is the next thing, because there's a whole bunch of people who won't leave country who feel brand loyalty like they do to Chevy or Ford or GM, but they're going to want to be young and they want to be different. So we're going to put in something that's familiar yet inoffensive to the parents. Yet, and you could tell it just drips with inauthenticity. Yeah. Everything that country music isn't.
When I lived in Nashville, it was during a time that Nashville seems to have a cycle, and the old boys shoot themselves in the foot about every so many years, right? And when I saw it, it was coming off of some really bad stuff, and then Randy Travis and Steve Earle and Dwight Yoakam showed up and sort of got real again. Marty Stewart, right? Brought it all back together, and that was great.
Yeah. And
then they went, okay, that's great. Let's do some cookie cutter cowboys based on these guys, but we're going to amp it up a little bit, and it all went to hell again. And I think when I was down there, Garth was the
we call him Chris Gaines here.
Oh, Chris Gaines,
Chris
right?
Gaines.
I used to call him Girth Brooks, but
I like that too.
and the Shanias and all of that started coming out, and then they started with the cookie cutter cowboys again, trying to keep up with that, and shot themselves in the foot. And I mean, and it happened years before that too, where the Outlaws, Waylon and Willie, had to sort of set Nashville straight again, and it's a cycle. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some.
I've never seen an abandonment of the core values like this, though. Like you said, the writing, which was so great, is inane beyond belief.
But you've got the Justin Townes Earl and
back to
Shooter Jennings. We're going to see Shooter tomorrow night in Toronto. You're getting, Hank 3, and I mean, they're there.
Yeah. So we have to trust ourselves and shows like this, and people like it's not down to the major radio stations anymore, or Chorus Entertainment or Clearview or whoever they are. There's real music. There's real country music out there. We've had them in here. I love getting real, legitimate country music in here. It feeds. Reminds me. It makes me angry because it should. This should be the kind of country music that is heard on a regular basis. Because this is what made the rock and roll punk kid, and me, love country music. Was the writing and the playing and the musicianship, and taking, not being seriously. It's like there was. You write about the most painful things in the country. There was still a little wry wink of the eye,
tiny bit,
something about it that rose above.
And I'm hoping, because I love it so much, that the values that I have towards traditional country music is being conveyed in this record.
Absolutely.
And I think it is. You know what?
Absolutely,
I make no apologies for this record
and you
whatsoever.
Should. And the cornerstone leadoff song is a killer. And I mean a killer like American Sniper. This is a killer. One Stop Joe. Let's hear it. Right here. Barbershop Podcast.
Throw my memory on the fire. They don't work much anymore. I'm still hurting, that's for sure. Throw my memory on the fire. I'm done with caring, that's a shame. It's concerned, I always did. Now all I do is think and sit. Done with caring, that's a shame. Taking shelter on the rail. One-stop Joe's loneliness. Rolling stone collects no loss. And a runner knows no blame. Jump the fly down the line. It's that time I saw the coast. Whistle wailing like a ghost. Jump the fly down the line. Diesel running overtime. Gets me far away from here. Don't have to brake, don't have to steer. Diesel's running overtime. Taking shelter in the rain. One-stop Joe's loneliness. Rolling stone collects no loss. And a runner knows no blame. Well, I'm
Get back on.
The magic of Boxo Studio. Now, a little bit of great Pearly Jenkins. A little hand from Glen Marshall in here. Great work. You must have had a good time recording this.
It was a blast, really. I mean, there were some moments, right? But
it always is.
But it was a blast. There was one night, Bob Lanois showed up with Tim Gibbons, who, the last song I did, Stone, Timmy played the guitar on that, which you'll get to hear it. I don't know if you already have. And it was like old home week, you know. We were in there for a long time and laughing and having a good time.
You've got great feeling pockets in your song, and I know Tim's the type of player that when he hears that, yeah, he just goes to town on it.
And had some great people, you know. Jimmy Boskill was in and playing an array of instruments, and Clayton Yates and Roger Marin played pedal steel. Roger played with Fred Eaglesmith for a long time. I think he still does every once in a while. And did I say Laura?
Not yet.
Laura Cole?
Laura Cole, great voice. And she can, it's tough when you're a strong, identifiable vocalist to sit in with someone else and not kind of take away from the song and still lend your individuality to the song. And she does such a good job of that.
It's she really specifically made one cut, as far as I'm concerned. Brought it way up to a different level.
And there should be more women singing on songs.
Yeah, that's true.
And really.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of women. They should be doing a lot of things.
I tell you, when a voice kind of cuts in, there's a truism and a vitality and a reality that kind of happens. I like to use female vocalists on choruses and you know, bridges and refrains. It just brings in kind of a focus that, you know, just the one voice is there, but you don't lose track, you don't lose perspective of that one voice, but you get almost a intimate conversation that happens within the sharing of that same note. It's a beautiful thing. But we've got you solo, And I'm happy because we do a great job here and showcasing the voice. And if you have a song that sounds good, that sounds real, that sounds pure, that is from the steel and the wood of the guitar and from a singular voice, you know you've got yourself a song once you mix and arrange.
I'm a firm believer that a song isn't a song unless you could go to a campfire with one guitar and sing it, and it sounds like a song.
Exactly.
If you need all the other stuff to make it even resemble a song, it's not a song, as far as I'm concerned.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Why don't you give us a shining example
A shining example?
right here. Barbershop Podcast.
I'm 3 cigarettes away from a good time. 3 drinks from numbing your memory, won't stop by tonight. And these 300 miles between us just might be forever. So I'm 3 shots and 3 lucky strikes from when you said goodbye. Well, there's a woman who sits on my left. She thinks she can cure me. She thinks she can pick up my pieces and hold me tonight. But this bar stool is just where I'm stuck, just where I'm staying. In case you have a big change of heart and it changes your mind. So now I'm 3 cigarettes away from a good time. 3 drinks from numbing your memory, won't stop by tonight. And these 300 miles between us just might be forever. So I'm 3 shots and 3 lucky strikes from when you said goodbye. Well, I can't think of nothing that happened to cause you to leave, dear. Thought of everything that it might be, but I've come up lost. You never did give any rhyme, nor any reason. You just stepped off and left me at once. Now I feel the cost. So now I'm 3 cigarettes away from a good time. And 3 drinks from numbing your memory, won't stop by tonight. And these 300 miles between us just might be forever. So I'm 3 shots and 3 lucky strikes from when you said goodbye. Yes, I'm 3 shots and 3 lucky strikes from when you said goodbye.
Pearly Jenkins right here at barbershoppodcast.com. Shout out now to another one of our great sponsors, and that would be Shenanigans. Drove by it with Glen Marshall tonight, and he looked out and said, "Is that your sponsor, one of your sponsors right there?" And I said, "Yes, indeed it is. That's Shenanigans." And he went, "That's the old Mother's Pizza." And I told my great story about I never had a olive on my pizza in my life before I saw Teenage Head have olives on their pizza at Mother's Pizza. And from that time on, I have had olives on my pizza because of Teenage Head. And they're right there at 1305 Main Street East, working that whole Main Street East corridor, right across from Delta High School. You'll want to go there because it's like it was in the old days. Hamilton in the 80s and 90s, it's a lot of fun. Good people, great staff in there. If you're interested in what's on the game, if you want to come in after work and have a beer, they got drink specials. They've got incredible food, appetizers, pizzas, fall off the bone ribs, wings. They've got a great appetizer layout for vegetarians. If you want, mushrooms or whatever, it's not those kind of mushrooms. These are the ones.
Damn.
The deep fried ones. Deep fried, deep fried mushrooms.
Not deep dried.
Not deep fried. But it is a good time place. You want to go on Friday, Saturday, twist it up, dance a little bit, go to Shenanigans. They love us. They're all about Hamilton. They're all about doing your own thing proudly and supporting your community. And that's why they're part of what we do. And we want to support them. So go see our friends at Shenanigans, 1305 Main Street East, corner of Houghton and Maine, right across from Delta High School. Go see Cass or Kev. Tell them we sent you there. Barbershop Podcast. We're here with Pearly Jenkins, someone who's been on the music scene in Hamilton and Haldimand and Norfolk and Toronto and here and there and everywhere, playing so many different genres of music with so many different people, tried and true. You couldn't leave the business if you wanted to, could you?
No. I've tried,
yeah.
and I get dragged back in by the ankles, There's been a few times when I just said, you know what, I'm done with it. And stayed away for maybe 2, 3, 4 months, and then somehow something would come up and I'd get pulled back into it. But I think I set that up myself, you know what I mean? I can't get out of it. I'm not fighting it anymore. It's what I do. It's who I am.
I think you have to test yourself from time to time to realize, do you still really need to do it?
Do you need to do it?
Because you can't talk yourself into doing it. The rewards, like Glen Marshall, the fellow who's in here, he told me years ago, he goes, Kevin, if you pour your heart and soul and every bit of your being into this business, there is literally hundreds of dollars to be made.
It's so true.
and I have followed his advice, and sure enough, I am well on my way to making those hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds of dollars.
That he promised me so many years ago. But Glenn, I remember him putting his arm around me and walking me around the block when the singer didn't show up and go, guess what, Kevin, you're going to sing this and you're going to do a great job at it. And
that sounds just like Glenn.
Yeah, I didn't believe him, but guess what? I managed to do it, managed to do this.
He's a sweetheart.
He is. And kind of made me understand that my role in this business.
Is he blushing yet?
I don't know. He's a lover, and he's a lover man. He's a lover of music.
You know what? He's a lover, but you don't want to see the fight inside of that man.
No,
I've heard stories.
He's got the reputation, and he's tried and true. He's one of the real deals, and one of the big reasons why I'm in this business and I'm still in this business. And he's put certainly a wonderful record together, and looking forward to it being released to the masses.
And it couldn't have been anybody else. It wouldn't have worked.
Wouldn't have sounded like this.
It wouldn't have worked. It was so organic and right. It just seemed right to do it this way.
Let's hear another little sweet piece.
Sweet piece.
Off of the record. What's the name of the record? Do you have a name for it?
Pearly Jenkins.
Pearly Jenkins. Gotta like it. All right, here's a little something called Blank Piece of Paper.
Laura's singing on this.
We've all stared at one of those.
Yeah, guaranteed.
All right here, Barbershop Podcast.
I've got a blank piece of paper. It's waiting for some words. There's a good chance they won't come around tonight. I've been trying this forever, just can't get it right. They always seem to be just out of sight. Where I want the song to move you, but I can't find the perfect words to show our love. Like how we'll always be together till the stars fall from the perfect sky above. Yeah, that's our love. Yeah, that's our love. Well, you see, your beauty's blinding, and your heart's so warm and pure. Your voice is like an angel's gentle kiss. Your touch can heal the broken, 'cause I was down before all this. Try to write it out, but somehow always miss. For I want the song to move you, but I can't find the perfect words to show our love. Like how we'll always be together till the stars fall from the perfect sky above. Yeah, that's our love. Yeah, that's our love. I've got a blank piece of paper that's waiting for some words. There's a good chance they won't come around tonight.
And that's a blank piece of paper, the upcoming CD, Pearly Jenkins, from, of course, Pearly Jenkins, recorded by Glen Marshall. Beautiful piece of music. I want to talk about some beautiful things that are happening. Our friend Glenn Brown, editor-in-chief of Greater Hamilton Musicians Magazine, is putting together a musical directory. This is very important. This is not only going to showcase and highlight all of the musicians, the musician services, associated things that all tie into the great musical scene we have here in Hamilton, tying it together, providing not only a printed copy of it, but an online copy. This will do great things to expose and share the community, with not only amongst those people in the community, but the outside people, especially during the Junos, who come in and are well aware of Hamilton and the reputation it has. He is putting this together. It is a monumental effort requiring people to take note that there's a start time, a work time, and a finish time involved. And if you want to be involved in it, we implore you to get a hold of Glenn. We're going to have his link here at barbershoppodcast.com, and we're going to play a little video now that kind of explains it. We're supporters of him and what he does, and we hope you will be too.
Hello. Welcome to my messy practice room. I'm going to announce something that is so exciting. We are having a referral contest. Starts tonight at 8 o'clock on the Indiegogo campaign page. The prize that we have, 2 tickets to the Junos on March 15th. So here's how it works. If you would like to have a chance to win those tickets, what you do is this. You go to the website. Okay, there it is. Make sure you're on the website where the campaign is all explained and the story and the categories are all there. make sure you sign up with Indiegogo so that you're registered with them on the page, and share the campaign. Use the sharing buttons that show up at the bottom of the video where the main story is told. And when you share with your friends on your different social networks or in the email link that you send, if your friend clicks back to the site and makes a donation, it gets tracked to your name. And the winner of our contest will be the person whose referrals result in the most contributions. Okay? So think very carefully about all the different people who are in the music business that you know, whether they're a musician or a band leader or in a band. They might have a CD that they've recorded they'd like to sell or just announce. But also the other businesses that serve the music industry, whether they're a guitar technician or they might be a hairstylist, transportation, equipment, rentals, lighting, graphics, graphic arts, printing services. There are so many people who serve musicians who should be in our directory. Okay, this is so exciting to think about having all of you people help out with this. And as we get close to the end of the campaign, and as we announce our stretch goals very shortly as well, you'll see that we need to just bring in about, a ton more people to make this successful. Okay, the contest starts tonight at 8 o'clock, and it goes right down all day through Saturday, all day through Sunday, and ends on midnight on Sunday night. And we'll be announcing the winner on Monday. So these Juno tickets are up for grabs. We hope you'll share the heck out of this and think carefully about how you can make this happen for all of us. Thanks. We'll talk soon.
All right, so that's the deal. Juno's coming to Hamilton. Glenn Brown, Greater Hamilton Musicians Magazine, Greater Hamilton Musician Directory. Be a part of it. Get in there. Check it out. We're going to put the link up on barbershoppodcast.com. Visit it. If you are in the music business in any regard, you want to be a part of it. We're talking about Laura Cole. Had her on the show. I'm listening to her CD extensively in my automobile.
Right.
She's been busy, too. A bit of an activist. She's got a bit of an activist bent.
She's quite upset
Yes.
that the city of Hamilton doesn't want her to toboggan.
She loves to toboggan.
I guess so.
And many of us do.
I mean, we never had a conversation about it, but it seems like the girl likes to toboggan.
Because in the winter, there's not a lot of things you can do, especially that don't cost a lot of money. In the summertime, you can go out and play soccer, you can run around and go for a walk on a trail. It's all free. It's all fun. Mm-hmm. In the wintertime, your world kind of shrinks down. And to do something that is fun is tough. To do something that is more fun than anything you can do in the summertime is way tougher. And tobogganing is the one fucking thing that you could do in Canada. And all of a sudden, because some 42-year-old lawyer went to a hill that said no tobogganing and went down. Listen to me, I know I'm sounding like Vinny from New York. And going down, and he hit some culvert, and he broke his tailbone, and then he sued the city of Hamilton, and we're on the hook because the culvert was covered with snow, there wasn't a city employee to put a red thing over top of it, and with a big arrow that says.
Yeah, see, I didn't know all of that. I didn't have all that information. Well, all I know is that Laura likes to toboggan.
She's a toboggan, and anyway, in order to take care of any kind of legal responsibility, tobogganing just got completely outlawed in the city of Hamilton.
That's ridiculous.
And there's other cities as well where this has happened. So other cities like Peterborough and jurisdictions, they've taken a softer approach and, made sure people are aware of the problem, but they allowed tobogganing to happen, but not, there was too much of a
Shouldn't they put at your own risk?
Yeah.
signs?
And they would even put hay bales around the bottom of trees to mitigate the potential problem, whereas other people would say, well, you were demonstrating that by trying to make it safer, that it was dangerous to start with, and this is a slippery slope. Oh! See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw. Right. I caught that.
It's a slippery slope, and Laura Cole decided to do something about it. Put together a really great video that's got over 45,000 views on YouTube. It's so Hamilton, and so proud to have a great friend of the show like her put something like that together, and we're going to share it with you right now. BarbershopPodcast.com.
The first snowfall of winter was a big one. Tons of white stuff deep upon the ground. And that meant everyone would get a snow day. Lots of fun and good times all around. I bundled up and grabbed my old toboggan and headed to the nearest hill in town. But Hamilton's now posted signs to warn you, tobogganing is not allowed. You can't toboggan in the Hammer anymore. You're not supposed to run and play. You can't go make your own fun in the great outdoors. So just give up, stay inside all day. I headed to another hill I know of. I found more signs were stuck into the snow. My wooden sled was getting the cold shoulder. No matter where I went, the sign said no. The police came and said that they would find me. I said, hey boys, I'm trying to ride my sleigh. It wasn't long before I had to stand my moral ground. Slid down that big old hill anyway. You can't toboggan in the Hammer anymore. You're not supposed to run and play. You can't go make your own fun in the great outdoors. So just give up and stay inside all day.
This is Canada.
Let us toboggan. Our choices are free will.
'Cause this is Canada.
Let us toboggan. We choose to slide downhill. So that's why we're here starting this petition. 'Cause it's our native right to slide down hills. Just trying to keep a hold of old traditions. But this new bylaw's giving me the chills. So protest now by tweeting and by blogging. And tell the world about our point of view. Change the signs that now say no toboggans. To do it at your own risk, so it's up to you. You can't toboggan in the Hammer anymore. You're not supposed to run and play. You can't go make your own fun in the great outdoors. So just give up and stay inside all day. So just give up and stay inside all day.
You can't toboggan in the Hammer anymore. Too bad. But Laura Cole, if she can do something about it, she's gonna.
All the power to her.
Yeah, we've got a big rally coming up this, I don't know if it's this weekend. They wanted to get a bunch of people tobogganing, but we need some snow. We got some snow coming down here. It's been a milder winter than last year. I remember I was so depressed and angry and cold. It was cold all the time. The furnace did not stop running.
No, it's true.
And now we're at the point where the days are getting a bit longer, 5:30. Still light out, which means spring is coming, the rebirth, the launching of the Pearly Jenkins record.
That's right.
The Pearly Jenkins experience, you're going to want to have a bit of that. Not that it's called the Pearly Jenkins experience. You're going to want to experience the Pearly Jenkins experience. Tell me. I'll tell you about it. And we did it again. another week, number 113 of Barbershop Podcast, a fantastic episode. You heard some great original music from Pearly Jenkins, some story about how he came up in the business, a little brotherhood, a little festive mood to get us through the cold, dark days of winter.
There you go.
We're almost through January, and we're doing it, heading towards Groundhog Day. Every week is exciting and rewarding at Barbershop Podcast, and I would like to thank you for coming in and joining us.
And I'd like to thank you for having me.
I had a great time. A great time with Pearly Jenkins, Glen Marshall, and Ryan Cannon, Gary Greenland, and myself, Kevin Barber, your host each and every week at Barbershop Podcast, 113 in a row. We don't have any intention of stopping or even slowing down. You want to check us out every Wednesday. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio. Google that Barbershop Podcast. Thanks for coming out.